Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 700 and what is this, like 69, episode 769. Excited and thankful to get this far in all the episodes, and so we're gonna do an episode today talking about private trust don't exist. We gotta go ahead and do this episode. Why? Because somehow people think that whatever is put out in the public media is true. Well, okay, so they put out in the public media that the private trust don't exist. They put out in the public media common law trust don't exist. Somehow you hear this statement called a public company. Well, if there's a such thing as a public company, they're safe to say it's a private company. So then what is a private company? Okay, then we jump into, well, we hear about these private corporations just like we hear about public corporations. And then somehow people say, well, I don't know what a private corporation is. Well, we're going to go ahead and break that on down early in this episode. So for all of you all that have heard the term, it's a private corporation. Traditionally, that means that they have private owners, and private owners traditionally involve private trust. That's how that looks. So when you hear the term private corporation, sure, it may be in a favorable state where they keep the owners private, quote unquote, favorable states for corporations and things of that nature, but we can continue to walk further down that path on why technically it's called a private corporation. Interestingly enough, it may even be called a private corporation at times. Not just, well, the almanor or not, the government, they'll try to tell you that it's not private if you own it. It doesn't matter if your name's on public record or not for it. They'll say if you own it, it's not private. Why? Because the individual, if you own it, you have liability. So when you hear the term truly private, it's usually a private entity. Now, y'all gonna sit here and listen to the internet. Oh yeah, the internet said that this doesn't exist and that this doesn't exist, which is a just straight up lie. So we're sitting here listening to this information and we're wondering what's going on. When we talk about, oh yeah, there's no such thing as a private corporation. So what they gonna sell you? A public trust? They gonna sell you a public trust, huh? They gonna sell you a statutory trust, huh? They gonna sell you a will in the meantime, huh? Oh, when you go to, I'm gonna create a private trust. Why won't they create a private trust? Why won't your public attorneys create the private trust for you? Why are they telling you not to create a private document, knowing that the United States Constitution protects your privacy? Why aren't they creating that private document for you? You really don't want to know that they can't, because they've signed on to bar association that says, yeah, if anything ever comes up, I'm going to rat and snitch to the state. Y'all want to go there? Because we can go there. We can talk about it. When somebody wants to sit here and say, oh yeah, Trust Christian, somehow the attorney said that the private trust don't exist. Somehow the attorney told me I don't need a private trust. They told me I don't need one. I went to them, I told them I want a private trust. They told me I don't need one. They told me I can't afford it. They told me I don't have enough assets. Which I want to talk about. These are the conversations we get coming to us from the public side. But they want to tell people, oh yeah, private trusts don't exist. What are you talking about? What y'all want the government to tell y'all that too? So they can tell you to go get a public entity? Oh yeah, Trust Christian, the private trust don't exist. So are they saying they don't exist? Or are they saying that they can't draft it? Which one are they saying? Oh well, I went on the website and of the government and they said that these things they don't exist. Where, in the public? Do you even know what the private means? The private means without the government. So why would the government tell you that there are things going on without them? Y'all want to go there, we can talk about this. Public platform, it is what it is. The government acknowledges the private sector. for sure. They acknowledge that there is a private sector, but somehow people want to sit here and come and say, "Oh yeah, trust Christian." When I was researching on the internet, I read research on the public website. You know, government said that this doesn't exist. Government said it doesn't exist. Did they say they never existed, or did they tell you they don't exist right now? Did they tell you what is a governmental trust, quote unquote, statutory trust, and one that's not? That the attorneys, when you go to the attorney and say, "Oh yeah, I need you to set me up in trust," what they gonna set you up with? A statutory trust. Now, why would they set you up with a statutory trust? Oh, trust Christian. I had to think about that one there. You're right. Why would they only set me up or even offer me just a statutory? They didn't even let me know that there was a private sector. They didn't even let me know that there was a private trust. Oh, they did, huh? Nope. They didn't even let me know it was a private trust. So they didn't let you know it was a private trust, but they let you know it's a public trust. Because that's what they have an interest in. That's what they know they can defend in court. That's what they know they can make money off you for. Oh, Trust Christian, is it really like that? Look, you don't have to believe Trust Christian involved. Clearly, did they offer you the one without the government? Do they even mention it in the conversation? What could they say? And first of all, the private one's supposed to be more superior. So why wouldn't they put you in the Rolls Royce? Why wouldn't they put you in a superior vehicle? Because most people don't want to know in the public, a lot of attorneys can't do it. That's what you're going to have to realize. That most of the attorneys in the public can't do it because they don't have the wherewithal. They're trying to come at it from a public perspective, not from a private perspective. They don't want you to stay private. Why? Because they have no control in the private sector. They have to come up under the trust contract. Whereas in the public, they understand, oh, I'm just going to go use these rules and these regulations, and I'll go forward from there. And I'll still be held with no liability and make the most money. Exactly. Oh, Trust Christian is really that way? From what we can see. Why would you be recommending statutory in the public? Because they have a contract with the government. It is what it is. Oh, Trust Christian, you gonna say it like that? First of all, they talking to people. We even sat here and listened to something recently. Trustee's gonna sit here and try to say, "Oh yeah," I mean, this public attorney gonna try to sit here and they're trying to talk all proper for you, but they never mention to you that you can operate privately and do that efficiently and effectively. And not only that, y'all want to go there. Let's talk about it. A lot of y'all don't want to know. This is called elitism at its finest. It's elitism at its finest. Oh, Trust Christian, you out here talking about trusteeship. Well, are the attorneys telling y'all to protect child states? But then they got various different levels to do it. Oh, we could do it through the will. We could do it through this trust. We could do it through a revocable living trust. But then we could go to this trust. They got all these different ones over on the public side. Private side, it's real simple. But somehow the public sector wants to tell you, oh, it's all these different options, and the only reason you could get it is because of how much money you make. That's how you know you're dealing with elitism. When somebody want to tell you it's based off how much money you make. The knowledge, and not only the knowledge, the execution of the knowledge is based off how much money you make. And that's how you know you're dealing with poverty mindset people. Those are just middle class people. We can go ahead and say, I won't care what no attorney say. Because first of all, that's a plot, that's information that you give someone because you don't want them to have the truth. The truth is you can operate from a superior position and it's not about money. And they know that. They know that. But they don't want to tell you that. Because then you would be in the same position they would be in. Oh, well, how could you get into this information? You don't have all the money I went into student loans and all of this stuff for this money. I have you. What are you going to do? What do you need to know all of this information for? It's to protect millionaire money. It's to help millionaires not pay taxes. Y'all want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. It's to help the millionaires not pay taxes. That's what the attorneys say. We're helping them, the millionaires save money. Let's talk about it. Oh, we're helping the billionaires save money because they can afford it. Y'all want to talk about it? But somehow, you whatever class you is, you whatever and whatever wherever you put yourself at financially. Oh man, I'm here, so that means I'm not supposed to have the information or execute the information, not knowing that the information is a catalyst. The information is what actually allows you to stay in a specific environment, let alone get in a certain environment. If the information can help you stay in the environment, then the information can help you get in the environment. But for some odd reason, we already know what it is. The attorneys want to sit here and tell y'all, oh yeah, you gotta have the money for that. Oh really? So how did we get the information before the attorney? Since you gotta have the money for it, right? You gotta have the money for the information, right? No, you don't. The attorneys just want to sit here and make money off you. And whether they know it or not, the attorneys, we sat here, we brought a few attorneys on the podcast. There's no shade to the attorneys, straight up. We brought a few attorneys onto the podcast. Attorney comes onto the podcast. Next thing you know, they over here using the information that we provided. Oh no, Trust Christian, that's not true. Yes, it is. We hear it in their messaging. Did they want to collaborate and build? Oh man, I went to school for law school. So what? You're not special because you went to law school. Y'all want to talk about it? What are you special at? Studying cases? Y'all want to talk about it? What are you special at? Studying cases? Something that the average individual can read, and if they got a legal dictionary next to them, they can actually learn the definitions, so they can't be lied to when you guys try to say one word over another word and it means something differently. Because they don't want to tell you that they're reading from a Black's Law dictionary for the words, and you over here reading from Webster's. But they'll tell you, oh, private trust don't exist. Common law trust don't exist. You can't deal with those things out here. How you gonna operate internationally, doofus? How you gonna operate internationally when other countries don't want to deal with the United States tax regime? Y'all want to go there? See, y'all don't really want to hear this because the attorney's not gonna tell you this. The attorneys didn't tell you, or not gonna tell you. What are they not gonna tell you? They're not gonna tell you that international countries don't want to deal with the United States. First of all, how could the attorneys not setting y'all up in a Swiss jurisdiction? They not setting you up in what used to be considered tax havens. But they want to set y'all up in regular jurisdictions. Oh, you ain't got enough money. Well, if my intention is to make more money, I'm gonna make enough money to not have to deal with that. But see, it's all about who the attorney thinks they can charge. That's what it comes down to. It's a business. We respect it. It is what it is. But to sit here and play these games like, oh, Trust Christian, they can't afford it. They can't afford what? The information? That's what it comes down to. They know that it's going to cost you some time and some money, and they may judge you, prejudge you. You don't have it. Because they gonna ask y'all questions. They gonna ask you, hey, so what are you? They gonna ask you, so how much? What did you? What are they gonna ask you? What's your asset base look like? They're gonna ask you what your asset base look like. Some of you guys reveal your hand too early. You tell them your asset base. Oh, how much money do you have? You tell them. They gonna ask you how much money you have. They gonna ask you how much money you making every year. They gonna ask you all these questions. They gonna try to qualify you, right? For what? What are we talking about? Qualify you to save money or qualify you to pay them? Bottom line. Somehow there's this information going on. Oh, does the private trust exist? What are you talking about? They wouldn't even have the public right now if it wasn't sitting on the private. The private is the foundation. That's just bottom line. We could go into that literally in a pun intended, a meaning intended. The country is predominantly run through private foundations. It's that simple. And so, we can talk about it from a very unique perspective. Some people will say, oh man, Trust Christian is really like that. A lot of y'all don't want to know. A lot of the attorneys and a lot of people, they just are practicing elitism. And elitism is a real thing. It's a possibly, I think I'm better than you. I possibly think I have information that you shouldn't have. I have information that I'm not going to ever give you or release to you, because these people are living in competitive spirits. But when you understand what we're talking about right now, then you understand, okay, you know what, Trust Christian, I'm going to go ahead and practice investing in myself and investing in the information. Correct. You just invested in the information. That's all. Just investing in the information. You gotta invest in the information. You gotta invest in your education. Instead of sitting here saying, "Oh, I gotta have the money first." A lot of people say that. "Oh, I gotta have the money first." A lot of people say, "Oh man, I gotta have the money." It's like, well, you clearly are making something. You're gonna make the money, quote unquote. But you have to know what you gotta do first. A lot of times, a lot of people don't know what they gotta do. They just, oh man, the attorney didn't tell me about that, or the person didn't tell me about that. Exactly, because you have to learn what you have to do and invest in your education. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, replay. We want to do this episode to let people know y'all want to sit here and listen to these attorneys. Any attorney that listen to this want to sit here and rebut what we talking about. We have no problem with it because, ladies and gentlemen, your right to privately contract, which is always honored, which is a in trust in general, is in the Constitution. What are we talking about? Somehow, oh yeah, it's a pick me. It's a occasionally the law works. The law only works for a certain skin tone. All this stupid stuff. Nothing valuable. Just it works for a certain skin tone. What are we talking about here? It doesn't. It works for people that apply the knowledge. People that invest in the information and apply the knowledge and get the results. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen, replay. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com if you want to get a consultation. But at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we really are focused on working with trustees that are focused on building something. We work with a lot of entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, high net worth accredited investor, then you're the ideal person that we want to work with because we understand you're a doer. Just bottom line, we understand there's so many people that say, "Oh yeah, I want to learn about it." Okay, well, cool. You got the ones that want to get educated, and then you got the ones that actually want to put something in place, lay the foundation, and we deal with both of them. And we have a library for people that want to learn. They can get access to the library and go forward from there. We have a bunch of recordings that we don't have live anymore. Go forward from there. You literally get minute templates. You can get definitions, all those things. Very in-depth education in the private sector that we have and we administer individually. So look forward to hearing from you all. Christian at trustchristian.com. We got New Jersey tuning in live, listen and replay. Always appreciate Jersey for tuning in live, listen and replay. Shout out Jersey for tuning in live, listen and replay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't be fooled by the hype. Don't be fooled by the internet. Don't be fooled by people sitting here trying to give you misinformation, telling you that the public sector or the private sector is, oh, it doesn't exist. Don't buy those things, ladies and gentlemen. Stay locked in. We got a bunch of stuff on here on the podcast. We got over 700 episodes. We know that's a lot, but at the same time, it's a lot for you all to go back, listen to, and pick something that actually like tickles your fancy specifically for some of the things you got going on. Whether that's I'm on the public side, or hey, I'm in the private sector and I want to move more efficiently and effectively. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Peace and joy.